that gives you supplies, and don't focus so much on the price. Focus really on the instructor's experience and the supplies that they're going to be giving you so that you can be successful in this career.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. You are watching She TV, and I am back. I've seen that a lot of you guys have been watching the video on permanent makeup, so I wanted to share some more information about that, especially about permanent makeup, because I know that it's a very difficult topic, especially when you begin. So since these things are kind of fresh in my head and I remember the experience, I want to share it with you guys, and I want you guys to make the best decisions moving forward so you could feel the most success and not give up, because this career could be very, very rewarding. So without further ado, today we're going to be talking about how to select the right school when you begin permanent makeup. Before I begin, I would like you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, that way you know when I'm on next time. I created a list of about 20 things that you should be looking out for. So they're in no particular order in terms of what's like the most important to the least important, but I'm just going to start, so listen up guys. Now, the first thing that you want to ask yourself is you want to know the state that you live in, because different states in the United States, well, I'm in the United States, I'm in New York, the laws and the requirements are very different here than they are from state to state. The worst thing that could happen to you is that you're not actually in compliance, and you can get in a lot of trouble and have a lot of fines, and we don't want you to do that. So the first thing that you want to ask yourself, what is the length of experience the microblading or permanent makeup instructor has before they started teaching me, or you in this case, before they start teaching you? So what is the length of experience that they have? Have they been doing this for a year, 2 years, 3 years? Do they only know one style, meaning like microblading or micro shading? Do they also know how to do lip blush? Like, what is really their background? How much hands-on experience do they have? One of the best ways to know how much experience they have is to go to their social media pages and see how many photos they have of work that they might have done. And you want to be careful when you look at these photos, because you can tell the style for every artist. Every artist has a style, so you can see if these photos have been plucked from Google, or if they if they actually are real photos and they look consistent. You can ask them, call them, ask them some questions. Definitely find out what their length of experience is in terms of time, because depending on the state that you're in, they might not be required to have a license. Because tattooing is really an art, so a lot of states within the United States, and maybe in other countries as well, they don't actually expect you to have a license from an official government agency in some states, and I think New York is included. So you might want to find that out. The next thing you want to find out is, what is the class size? So if this classroom has like 20 people and one instructor, you definitely want to run away from that experience, because that is way too many people, and this work is extremely technical, and you want to have an instructor that can actually walk over to you and watch and feel and test what you're doing as you begin to know how to microblade or any kind of permanent makeup in general. The next thing is, how many days is your training? Something you're going to notice instantly when you begin looking for a permanent makeup class is that sometimes these classes are 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Some have 7 days, some have 10 days. The length of time could be very, very different. Again, because many states and also countries don't require a minimum amount of education, you're going to see a big variety as to what they're allowed to offer you for a class. Now, I don't know about you, but the more for me, the better. But the more time that you're in a class, it might be more expensive. A lot of the things in permanent makeup you can learn in 1 to 2 days, and the rest of it is really a lot of practice and finding the correct mentors and experimenting on models. But if you're seeing something for 1 day, or if you're getting a 2-day schedule and it's really just for like 5 hours, you should be afraid. Be very afraid. Don't go anywhere near something like that. I'm not saying that not all 2-day classes can be very proficient and detailed, and they can be possible to give you a lot of information and really focus on your skills. But if those 2 days also include the time that you're going to get a model, just run away from that. The next thing that you want to find out is, can they share the outline and agenda of what you will be learning? Now, I know it's going to be really hard to even know what half the stuff means, especially if you've never been in the permanent makeup industry to begin with, but these classes should be teaching you about colors, undertones, skin types. You should be learning about facial structure, especially if you're doing the eyebrows. You should be learning about the skin undertone, how to select colors. You should be learning about what techniques should be used on certain clients and not on other clients. You should be learning about pathogens and germs. you should be learning about different types of needles in your class. Or maybe you guys can just ask me what you should expect in a class. Try to get like a syllabus of what you're going to be learning. If there's like 5 things on it, or if it's not very detailed, that is a red flag right there. And you guys can also share with me the classes that you're getting. You can question and comment below, and you can tag whatever it is if you're kind of unsure if that's a good place to go, and I can help answer those questions. Number 5, what is the support after the class is complete? So I've heard a lot of nightmare stories where people go and they pay a lot of money to learn from an artist or from a school, and once they're done, there's literally no support. There's no one they can ask questions to. They run into all kinds of problems along the way, and there's nobody to ask. You know, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Or this happened to me while I was with this client, or here's a picture of an experience, or right now my client sent me a picture and this is happening to her or him and I don't even know what to answer. You want to know that after you take this class, there's going to be some kind of support system that will answer your questions as quickly as possible. Number 7. If when you're calling these schools or when you're emailing these schools or these instructors, you might want to ask them if they have a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group, some kind of group, and see if you can get a kind of a peek into, like, see if you can be a temporary member, maybe if it's just for a day or two, so you can see how big the group is, how quickly the instructors answer, if other members in the group are willing to help you. And if you don't really see that camaraderie, it's not going to be a good environment for you. I'm going to tell you right now, to become very successful in this industry, you need a big support system. You need a mentor, you need a school that's going to support you. You need people who are going to answer your questions very quickly, so that you don't get overwhelmed and feel like a failure when you make what I want to call mistakes, or when you do things that you're not exactly happy with, because this is a learning experience and it's going to take you time to get to the level that you want to be at. After you take this class, be it 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, or 7 days, are they going to supply you with models? Is that included in the cost? Or is your class cheaper because models are not included in the cost, but are they going to observe you and watch you take care of a client, a potential model client, and see where, you know, the lesson that you learned verbally is actually being put into practice? You want an instructor that's going to be able to watch you live. If they're not offering that, I don't even know what they're doing in business. Just run away from those people too. What else? Number 9. Does it include Bloodborne pathogen course? So a lot of the times the schools themselves don't teach these things in great detail because the city or state that you're located in have those classes. But they should be teaching you something, because hello, you're going to be working on a model and you don't want to get hepatitis. You don't want to get something because you didn't know any better when you started in this industry. Some of you might be fortunate to know a little bit about that, and some of you might not. Point is that a school should be teaching you how to be as hygienic as possible for you and the client. Number 10, what are the most recent testimonials and reviews? So don't just go to their social media page and see their photos and the comments below the photos, because they can be doing that themselves. You should try to go to their Google, their Yelp, and any other kind of platform, Square, whatever it is, and see what their reviews are from clients who've gotten work from them and from students that have gone to learn from them. Now, no school is going to be perfect. No school is going to give you 100% everything you need to be great in this industry. But you want to know that the school that you go to is going to give you a good foundation to start you off. So when you read the reviews, you should see if the students had a good experience. Did they feel like the instructor was informative? Were they able to understand them verbally? Did the instructor have patience? These are all quality things that you want to read between the lines while you're reading the reviews. I know I did this, and I'm very thankful that I did that, because I came into this industry and I didn't know anything. And I came from owning a restaurant. So seeing the information about the instructors and getting to know them via other people's opinions about them really helped me pick the right school for myself. Number 11, is the trainer reliable? So you don't want to pay a lot of money and then find out that your instructor isn't available, that there's nobody else who can teach you until he or she is ready to teach you whenever they feel like it, after you've paid all the money up front. A lot of the times a legal battle is a waste of time, and you just want to know that where you're going, they're going to have a reliable instructor, 1 or 2 or 3, and that you're going to be able to rely on that person. Number 12, and this is the part where I was telling you is interesting, because in some states You don't actually have to be a licensed instructor to teach people. And I hope you're listening to that carefully, because a certificate that can be printed out on the computer does not mean that this person should be an instructor. That's why I've given you all the other information with regards to reading testimonials, going to look at social media pages, looking on Yelp and Google and all these things, because if you're in a state like New York, which I think in New York it's like that, and you're not required to be a licensed instructor and you can just teach people, you want to know that either they are licensed or not, or how long their experience is in the industry. How much does the course cost? Now, this is such a doozy, because I know when you're starting something new, the first thing that pops into your mind is you want to save money, and that might not always be the best strategy. You might want to save your money and take the course that's a little bit more money and really get an instructor that's very good, or get an instructor that's going to set you up with the right ink, the right tools, all the right instruments that you're going to need. I went with that option. I went to a school that I felt was a little bit more on the expensive side, but I got all of the materials. If I was to put all those materials in a package, I probably would have spent $500-600. But I, not knowing what I needed in the industry, did not think it was a good idea for me to start experimenting with a bunch of materials that I didn't even know what they were. So I kind of went with the idea that finding a school that was going to give me materials and they were going to give me instruction for my school went for about 10 days was the better idea for myself. So if you're thinking that, oh, let me go to a school where they might not give me the supplies but I can buy it all on Amazon, that might not be the best idea, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. Number 16 or 15, I think I've lost count. Number 15 will be, are they going to help you find insurance? When you start in permanent makeup, it's one thing to practice on models when you're with your instructor, because they normally have their own insurance for being an instructor and for working on clients that protect them. Now that you leave the school, you don't want to be you don't want to be working on clients and not be insured. So you want to know that the school that you're at is going to recommend the best types of insurance for you. They're going to give you, this is actually number 21, so I'm just going to say it now. Number 21, make sure that the school that you're going to is going to give you forms that clients have to fill out to have procedures done, because those forms, they might have to get tweaked and looked at by lawyers or things like that. But you want to start with something so that you have proof of the date of the service, of the procedure that you did. You want to always print out photos of your clients, and you want your instructor to teach you how to use those forms so that you're always successful. Within those forms, there are a lot of other little details that I'm not going to get into right now because that's not what this video is about. But 21 was definitely go to a school that's going to give you a packet of supplies and forms, and they're going to give you information about insurance and things like that to be the most successful. Let's go back. Number 16. Is this school going to allow you to come back for a refresher course? I have to explain something to you. Even though I went to a school that was for 10 days and I learned a couple of different things in permanent makeup, you want to be able to go back, because once you start working on people and you start experiencing different skin types, like really flabby skin or really tight skin or really soft skin or really very firm skin, you're going to have all these questions that you're not going to be able to ask anybody if your instructor isn't giving you the opportunity to come back for a refresher course. So find out if they let you come back, how often, and then after that cutoff, if it's going to cost you more money, how much. And use that to compare that to other schools that are offering those things. Because like I said, in the permanent makeup industry, long-term support is what you're really looking for so that you don't give up. You might back down every now and then, but you don't want to give up. Number 17, do they teach other things in permanent makeup? So if you look them up, you said, I want to find an instructor in microblading, and then you kind of get curious about doing a lip blush. You want to know that the instructor is going to be able to teach you other things, because perhaps you can get yourself a package deal, or you could get a better price on other instructions. And also, when you find an instructor that's good at more than one thing, the confidence you feel is so much better, because you're like, wow, this person is really in the game. They've got their head in the game. They know how to do other things. They don't just know how to do one thing. So I'm not saying that knowing how to do one thing is bad. It's actually really, really good. But when you're going for an instructor, you really want to know that that person has a lot of experience in more than just one field when it comes to permanent makeup. Number 18, do they allow you to bring additional models? Why is that important? So if you finish your course and you got the models that were already pertaining to the course or the models that were supposed to be allotted to you, and now you want to continue working with models because, of course, like I said, you're going to need a lot of practice. You want to know that you can bring that model back to the instructor and that he or she will have time to oversee what you're doing. Maybe, you know, whatever their strategy is for doing it, I don't know, but you want to know that that is available to you. Sometimes instructors will charge you a tray fee, which is like, you know, $25, $50, $100, and it's basically for their time, because they are going to stand there and watch you do the work, and they're going to give you information again, and you want to get paid for your work, they want to get paid for their work. So make sure that you ask those questions. You want to know if there's going to be a tray fee, if they even offer the service, what days it is, how often a month, because they might say, yeah, I offer that, but then they don't offer it, they only offer it once a year. You don't want that. You want to know that you're going to be able to do it a few times a month, because hey, we get busy, right? So ask your questions, people. Ask your questions. Here's another one. Will they teach you about the business side? Now, here is something that not all schools are going to offer you, and I can understand why they're not all going to offer it to you, because that is like within itself a whole other type of school. But to know something about the business side of permanent makeup is essential to your success. Finding out where you're going to get models, how you're going to market and promote yourself, how you're going to protect yourself with insurance, how you're going to keep your costs down while you're learning, and in the future, obviously, because you don't want this to become extremely expensive for you, are all going to be very important things for you to learn. And you want to know when you select a school or an instructor that they're going to have those kind of support strategies, or that kind of information to make you successful in this industry. I hope that I have given you a lot of information that you can use while you're searching for a school or an instructor in permanent makeup. And if you have any questions, just comment below and ask me. Perhaps I missed something or forgot something, but these were the things that were very important to me when I was looking for an instructor. And I told you guys I was going to tell you what school I went to in New York City. So I went to ISPMU, and they are located in Queens, New York, on Northern Boulevard, and they're a fabulous school. Two sisters that have hundreds of years, no, I'm kidding. They have tons of years of experience in the industry. They teach about 20 different types of things. So
microblading, microshading, lip blush. They do microneedling, carboxyfacial, BB glow, fat melting, hyaluron pen.
They do so many things, and I'm absolutely happy that I picked that school, because I have not only had a great experience with the instructors because they're very informative, but the network that they've created with their students and basically helping their students through their WhatsApp group is phenomenal. They also allow you to come back repeatedly for additional instruction and observation, because like I said, in permanent makeup, you don't want to have an instructor or a school that is going to give you a certificate and kick you out the door, because that's the worst thing that you could have. You need a support system. I really can't think of anything else that can help you guys be more successful in this industry than constant practice, finding the right instructors, and not giving up. I can't even explain to you how important it is to not give up. You're gonna have those days where you feel like total crap after doing a procedure, even though the client seems very, very happy, and you're probably gonna give up for like a week or two, but I promise you that if you come back, eventually you're gonna be very, very successful. So I just wanna say good night and goodbye. Ciao, bacalao. I'll see you in the comments and on my next video. Bye!